For Toyota, 2016 could not have come soon enough. It's had to watch its rivals come up with a series of new generation models while it's had to make do with older vehicles. But that's about to change because last month Toyota launched the all-new Hilux, and now it also has a brand new Fortuner utility SUV. Those vehicles will allow Toyota to combat its rivals with new hardware and new confidence. The Fortuner has been one of Toyota's biggest success stories. While it's often described as a Hilux with an SUV body, that's not quite true. Yes, it shares the ladder frame chassis and drivetrain with a Hilux, but a recalibrated suspension, including an independent rear setup, allow a measure of ride refinement, while 3 rows of seats add welcome versatility, making it a favorite with families. Add to that the ruggedness typical of a utility vehicle and the go-anywhere talents that go hand in hand with the raised ground clearance and the extra traction of four-wheel drive in the case of 4x4 models, and it's easy to understand why the Fortuner has been a runaway success, with sales approaching 100,000 units since its local introduction a decade ago. This latest Fortuner is an all-new vehicle, and it shows. It's characterized by this jutting nose, which is quite similar to that of the new Hilux, but has a different grille treatment. The silhouette is very reminiscent of the previous car. It has an almost floating roofline with blacked-out rear windows, and the tailgate at the back is nice and large with a roof spoiler as well. The cabin is a smart space, even in this so-called standard grade package. The finishes and materials exude an air of tactile quality with soft touch surfaces and durable cloth seat upholstery. The equipment list ticks more boxes than expected, both in convenience and safety terms. Keyless entry and start is included, for instance, as are front and rear aircon, central locking, decent sound with Bluetooth, cruise control and a trip computer. But it's not all good news. This big tailgate opens to reveal a very generous luggage compartment, but it is compromised by these seats. Somehow Toyota has persisted in using the system which sees the third row of seats suspended on either side instead of disappearing into the floor, which seems to be the more modern trend. We can't quite understand why, especially considering the fact that vehicles like the Ford Everest do have a better system. On the upside, Toyota has taken the need for active and passive safety measures seriously, including front and knee airbags as standard on base spec models, with side and curtain airbags added to the fancier versions. The active systems encompass vehicle stability control, ABS brakes with electronic brake force distribution and braking assist, hill start assistance and trailer sway control. The engine lineup is comprehensive too. The new Fortuner is offered with a choice of 4 engines, 2 petrols and 2 turbodiesels. This is the entry-level model, uses the GD-6 2.4 engine, which is brand new, good for 110 kilowatts of maximum power and a fat 400 Newton meters of torque. In terms of transmission choices, there's either a 6-speed manual, which is what we have here, or a 6-speed automatic, but this 2.4 is offered with a 4x2 drivetrain only. If you want 4x4, you need to go to the 2.8 turbodiesel or the 4-litre V6. The new GD-6 2.4 is not only more powerful and more refined than the engine it replaces, but also promises to be more fuel efficient. Toyota claims an improvement of 13%, but the quoted figure of around 7 litres per 100 kilometres for the combined cycle is a bit optimistic and would require a truly feather-footed driver. We'd work on an average of between 8 and 9 in mixed conditions, with mid-7s possible on the open road. The 2.4 feels lustier than expected, thanks to good low-down torque. The 400 Newton-meter maximum is already fully on song at just 1600 RPM, ensuring excellent urge at pull-off and loads of mid-range response. It also augurs well for this smaller engine Fortuner to cope with a full complement of passengers and luggage. There's no getting away from the fact that the Fortuner is a large and heavy vehicle on a ladder frame chassis at the time when many automakers have been opting for unibody designs because they can be lighter and more efficient. Having said that, even this entry-level 2.4 model has a lot of get up and go, and it is particularly impressive in terms of ride refinements. A lot of work has gone into the suspension here, wishbones up front, a multi-link rear suspension, and the drive is definitely more car-like than you'd expect. For the record, Toyota claims a 0 to 100 sprint time of 11.2 seconds and 180 km/h top speed, but it's more about the Fortuner's ability to maintain its cruising speed at the legal limit, which it does despite a tallish 6th gear. The manual gearbox is possibly a better option to provide more decisive control over gear selection and changes. The handling is vastly better than the previous Fortuner, which suffered from too much pitch and roll and was never confidence-inspiring when pressing on. The newcomer is much more composed, although we didn't get to drive it with a full load. The first generation Fortuner was hugely popular, and that despite the fact that it was quite rough around the edges. In fact, it could never quite disguise its bucky heritage. By comparison, this new Fortuner is better in every respect. It also has a competitive range of models and it's very well priced. No wonder then that its rivals are very, very worried. More modern aesthetics, an impressive range of drivetrain options and surprising refinements all add up to a Fortuner that's a big step up from the original. The 2.4 GD-6 turbodiesel finds a sweet spot between performance and value, and the manual gearbox is the better choice here too. Pity that those third row seats still look and feel like an afterthought though.